Want a soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and habits and routines that you must start practicing daily. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Have a good morning routine.
Nobody wakes up every day and says, "This is gonna be the greatest day ever." Not Dan Locke, not Evan Carmichael, not Tony Robbins, nobody. You wake up and you're tired and you have stuff in your eyes and you have lines on your face from the pillows. The difference between successful people is that they demand excellence from themselves through the habits and routines that they do daily. The problem is that thinking that these people are different, that if you're not waking up with tons of motivation ready to take on the day, that something is wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong with you is you don't have the habits that set you up for success every single day, and today I want to change that. So I have a 5S morning routine that I go through every single day that sets me up for success, that demands excellence. I'm going to share with you guys today. The first S is sing. The fastest way to change your state is to put on music. The fastest way to go from feeling low energy, tired, bored, into an energy of I am ready to go is music. Put on the song, not that makes you feel the current way that you're feeling. This is where most people mess up. You put on music for how you're currently feeling. If you're feeling really sad and low energy, you're gonna put on really mellow, slow music. What does that do? It keeps you in the same state that you're in. It keeps you exactly where you are. What you want to do is put on the music for how you want to feel. And so I have a playlist on my main channel called the Believe playlist, which is the songs that I listen to. These are the songs that I listen to every day. They may work for you, they may not work for you. There's no perfect song for everybody. There's a perfect song for you. And so build a playlist of the songs that make you come alive. Here's the criteria. If this song came on, it would force you to start moving. If the song came on, you find yourself doing this. If the song came on, you would get out of your chair and want to move around. Doesn't mean you're going to dance like crazy. Doesn't mean you're going to start belting out the lyrics. That may be you, awesome. But if you're a little more introverted or don't like to dance, something that would make you move, something that would get you at least in your chair doing this, that's what I want. Make a playlist and put that on as the first thing that you do every single morning. It'll make a huge difference to setting the tone, changing your state, and giving you energy and momentum to start the day. S number 2 is sun. I like getting outside. I think there's something about getting outside of your home, of your condo, your apartment, getting outside, getting some fresh air, just being out in nature makes a big difference. Getting some vitamins on your face from the sun outside, but also signifying that you're leaving your bedroom, you're leaving the condo, the apartment, the home, you're leaving what happened last night, and you're ready to go off and start the day. This is especially important if you're working from home, because it's easy to have your office right next to your bedroom, or maybe your office is your bedroom, and carry that bedroom energy, that tired, I just woke up, I want to stay in bed, I want to sleep energy into your work, and you won't do great things if that's the energy you're carrying to your work. So having some kind of ritual that splits up sleeping energy to I'm ready to go energy makes a big difference, and I find the easiest way to do it is to get outside and get some sun. Bonus points if you're in a condo or apartment to take the stairs instead of the elevator. S number 3 is soar, and this is the most important thing for me. If you only take one of the 5, I think this is the most important one to take. What is the thing that makes you soar every day? What's the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident? What is that? And put it into your morning routine. At some point in your life, you felt bold. You felt unstoppable. You felt confident. It's happened to everybody. The problem is you don't feel that way consistently every day. You go through these bursts, these moments of, man, I could do such amazing things, but then the next day you wake up and you're a different person. You're back to the, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. Who am I to go do this crazy thing? That's the problem. So whatever the thing is that makes you feel like you can come alive, that gives you that boldness and confidence, plan it with intention every single day into your morning routine. For me, what I do is I record a message on my phone to Instagram, to my stories, I put it to LinkedIn and Twitter. Right now I'm putting it everywhere, but I need to make a message. So I think of somebody that I helped yesterday. I think of somebody who commented on a video, who I met in person, who I coached on my Instagram Live, somebody that I helped yesterday. and then I make a message channeling that person. I won't say the person's name, but I have them in my head that I need to remind myself that the work that I do is important. It's easy to get lost in the numbers. It's hard to imagine that 200,000 to 300,000 people watched my videos yesterday. That's crazy. It's a wild number, right? It's wild. It's hard to, like, what does that even mean? I don't know. I'm just sitting here talking to a camera in my office, and 200,000 to 300,000 people are watching my videos. It's crazy. I need to think down to the actual person. I need to think about an individual, that this matters to somebody, that the work I do really means something to them. And then I need to record a message and share it. That helps me soar, and I do it every day. What is the thing for you? What makes you soar? Maybe it's watching the 254 series that I put up every day. Maybe it's watching the espresso videos like this that I put up every day. And some people, every day, this is part of the morning routine, is watching an espresso video, and I'm humbled to be a part of your morning routine. For other people, it might be meditating, it might be watching a video, it might be reading a book, listening to a podcast. I don't care what the thing is, but you have felt bold, unstoppable, and confident at some point in your life. What led you to feeling that way, and then demanded of yourself every day by putting it into your morning routine? The third S is soar. It's the most important one. The fourth S for me is sweat. This is just about being healthy, having a healthy lifestyle, and I want to do something that makes me sweat. So whether it's a HIIT workout, a cardio workout, a weights workout, I put that into my daily routine because I want to bust a sweat and I want to stay healthy into my 40s, which is coming up, and then into my 50s and beyond. And then the last S for me is scare. I want to do something every day that scares me. What I'm doing right now is I take a cold shower. So after sweating, I need to have a shower. Don't want to show up to work all smelly. And so I hop in the shower, but right away start turning it colder and colder and colder and colder and colder. And then right at the very end, I go all the way cold and I freeze. And even just thinking of it right now, it sucks, which is the best. Right? You want to do the thing that scares you every day. You're teaching yourself that I do scary things. So whatever is scary for you, whether it's taking a cold shower, whether it's making a phone call, whether it's sending an email, making a video and posting it, doing scary things, teaching yourself, getting that out of the way right from the beginning, I find really helps me. So that's the 5S morning routine that I go through every day. So you start by singing, you get some sun, you soar, you sweat, and then you scare. When you're trying on different habits, imagine that you're just trying on a hat. You could take the 5S and try it. Maybe they all work for you. Maybe one of them works for you. You try on my hat, and then some of it will fit, and some of it won't quite fit. The point of being able to learn from people who've had success is you take their routines, you take their habits, and you see what works for you, because not all of them are going to work. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. Don't say, well, Dan Locke does this, and Evan does this, and Dwayne Johnson does this, and whoever else does that, and say, well, I can't measure up. Maybe you don't want to work out 4 hours a day like Dwayne Johnson does. That's okay. You won't get the same results, right? You're not going to end up looking like him if you don't work out the same amount as him, but that's okay. What is your definition of balance? What's the thing that makes you feel come alive every single day? And then demanding it. That's the most important thing, is you demand the excellence from yourself every single day by putting it into your morning routine instead of hoping that amazing things happen and waking up like an accident.
Rule number 2, make proper decisions.
You need to make the big decisions in your life with your heart and the small ones with your head. This is where so many entrepreneurs fall down. This is where so many entrepreneurs make mistakes, because you see a trend, you see an opportunity, you see something that makes sense. It just makes sense on paper. It's so clear that this is going to happen. But if it doesn't energize you, if you don't love it, if it's not in your heart to say, man, I can't wait to go off and do that thing, you're never going to win. You're never going to win, because you're going up against people who love it. You're going up against people who love it, who breathe it, who sleep it, who dream about it. And for you, it's just an opportunity. You're never going to win big. Look at all your heroes, all your mentors, the people you look up to, the people who've done it. It's like, I want to be like this person in my field. I want to do it like she did it, like he did it. They love doing the thing. They love doing the thing. Doing it gives them energy. I look at what I do. I'm here in Dallas. I'm about to speak at Video Marketing World, an annual summit of some of the top creators on YouTube, to help share, give back, help the community, give feedback, train on YouTube. I love doing this stuff. What am I'm in the parking lot filming videos for you guys. Not because it's a strategy, not because I need to make a video a day, because I love it. This is the best. I'm about to go into this meeting, to this conference, and I'm gonna hang out with entrepreneurs all day long. From the time I get in there until whatever time AM, I'm gonna be hanging out with entrepreneurs and helping them with their business, helping them with their channel, because I love it. And if that sounds exhausting for you, amazing. Don't do it. And if it sounds energizing for you, yes, go and do it. You need to make the big decisions with your heart. And then your head's still important. It's like, don't listen. It's not, the message is not, don't listen to logic. The message is not, don't look for opportunities. It's look for opportunities within the thing that you love. Right? If I love making videos and I love making content and I love helping entrepreneurs, but I went all in on MySpace right now, I'm gonna lose. It's not the right strategy, right? You need both. It's working hard plus working smart. It's following what you love doing plus chasing opportunities. But what takes precedence? What's the most important thing? Your heart, the energy. If you are saying, oh man, Monday, if that's your mindset around Monday, you're doing the wrong thing. You're in the wrong career, you're in the wrong business. You will never be the top player in your industry. It'll never happen for you if that's your mindset. If you're itching to get back to it, if you can't wait to go to that meeting, can't wait to code, can't wait to make that piece of art, can't wait to go and make that video, can't wait to sit down and write lyrics for your next song, if that's the thing, then you're gonna be successful. It's not gonna be easy, it's still a long road, it's still a path, you still have to put in the grind and the effort and use strategies to help you get there faster. But it has to start by doing things that are energizing to you. You're gonna spend so much time working. Guys, you're gonna spend so much time working as an entrepreneur. Why not do stuff that makes you come alive? Why not do stuff that gives you energy? And so I want you to get out of your head. I want you to stop making decisions first from your head. I want you to stop making decisions only because it's gonna help you get some goal. It's short-term thinking, and you're never gonna win doing it. Big decisions with the heart, big decisions that give you energy. Look at your calendar. Are you energized about the week that's coming up? Look at your calendar. Go load your calendar right now. Load it on your computer, load it on your phone, however you're loading your calendar. Look at it. Look at your calendar. Look at the week ahead. Are you excited? Are you excited about what you're about to do? If not, you're doing the wrong stuff. If you're only excited about 10% of your calendar, you're only pouring your genius, your Michael Jordan level talent into 10% of your time, you're not gonna get to where you wanna go. You need to flip it. Even if it doesn't make practical sense at the beginning. Because all great things are made from the heart. All great things, every great business, every great song, every great creation started from here. From a place of passion, from a place of purpose, from a place of energy. And I want to put some pressure on you guys to go off and chase it down, because so many entrepreneurs fail and they lose a lot of money. It's not an easy game. But one of the biggest reasons, if not the number one reason, is because people pick an industry, people pick a business idea solely because they're chasing an opportunity down and they didn't love doing the work.
You need to make the big decisions in life with your heart and the small ones with the head. Big decisions with the heart, small ones with your head. Why? Because your head only understands a world that currently exists. It's logical, it's practical, it keeps you safe. But your heart can create something new that hasn't existed before. It's why the number one rule for success is follow your passion. All progress depends on what your heart tells you to do, and then you use your head to figure out how to execute it. So I just got back from an event that I was keynoting in Florida, and I was meeting these two entrepreneurs and helping them with their YouTube channel. And one of them is a really logical, head-first guy, and the other one is a more heart-based, passionate guy. And they were asking me, so that they're partners in the same business, and they're asking me, what's more important, logic or emotion? Logic or emotion? And they're obviously, the guy who's logic-based thinks logic is the most important, and the guy who's emotion-based thinks emotion is most important, right? You want to think that what you're great at is the most important thing. And I told them it's macro emotion, micro logic. Macro emotion, micro logic. You need to do both. So as I'm looking at their YouTube stats, I'm going deep into YouTube. I'm telling them all the data they need to know. I'm looking at the numbers and explaining your audience retention sucks here, we need to fix it. The percentage of subscribers coming to your channel is too low. All of this stuff. We're going deep into all their analytics. I can talk numbers for days. I love numbers. I love making data-driven decisions, but it's not the macro. The macro is the heart. The macro is, why are you on YouTube, right? Why am I on YouTube? Why am I making videos? That's the macro. And then you use your head to figure out the how. The science of the thumbnails and the audience retention and the playlists and the titles and all of the micro strategies that you can use on YouTube to grow. But it's macro emotion, micro logic. And so as I was explaining it to him, as I said, listen, it's macro emotion. He said, but I was listening to you as you were explaining things to me. It was very logical. Like, yes, the tactics were very logical, but the delivery so that you would understand it and then go home and actually apply it is emotion. It's not logic. It's emotion, because logic can be everywhere. The answers can be everywhere. You know how to lose weight. You stop eating junk. You know how to get fit. You'd start working out. You can find it, but why are people not doing it? Because you haven't connected emotionally. The reason why you understood what I was saying and you're willing to take action is because of the way that I delivered the information to you. Because I had you control the mouse and go through and do it yourself. Because I was encouraging to you when you needed it, and I hit you in the face when you needed it too. Not with my hand, with words, right? It's macro emotion, micro logic. You need both to win, but just recognize the situation you're getting into. Your big decisions with the heart, and then you use your head to figure out how to do it. So it's common when you come up with a new idea for something, you make a list of pros and cons, right? And that's your heart often talking against your head, where you have this giant list and you say, well, these are all the reasons not to do it, but there's only one reason why I want to do it. And so if it's 10 con and 1 pro, what do? If you just look at numbers, you go for the con, but maybe the one reason why is you just love it. When your head and your heart are working together, it's easy. When your head and your heart are opposite, that's when it slows momentum. That's when nothing happens, because you want to do it, but it doesn't make sense to do it. You really love it, you have to do it, but there's no practical, logical, safe sense to do it. You need to get them aligned. Your heart needs to say, listen to me, brain, we're going. Now help me figure out how to get there. We're jumping. Now let's figure out how to make our parachute on the way down. That's how it is. Big decisions with the heart, small ones with the head. I'm going to give you a 3-step process that will help you. Step number 1 is use the fear of regret. The thing that can jolt you into action is to use the fear of regret. Imagine yourself 90 years old, looking back on your life, and this moment right now is the pivotal moment. What happens right now, this decision you're about to make right now, will change the entire course of your life. What will you regret least, right? And then go do that one. Or what will you regret more if you don't do it, right? And then go do that one. Because the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of what other people are gonna say, all goes away when you can extend that timeline out. When you imagine that you're 95 years old, then this decision right now will set the course that if you decide to do the small thing, the safe thing, and then you hate your life for the rest of your life because you're worried about what your mom was gonna say, it puts it into perspective. It makes the future pain so big that it forces you to act. And so whenever you're faced with that decision, ask yourself, what am I gonna regret if I don't do it? Step number 2 is pay attention to what excites you. And this is especially when it doesn't make sense. What excites you? What makes you want to go? What makes your heart beat? Like, what makes you get up and want to move? Oftentimes, it's not the thing that makes the most sense. Because again, your heart can create a world that does not yet exist, but your brain only understands a world that currently exists, so it keeps you safe, logical, and practical. So pay attention to the things that excite you. Think about the last time you were really excited. What happened? What led to that? Now, how can you attract and bring more of that into your life? A great example for me is when I took over Toronto Dance Salsa. When I started salsa dancing, it didn't make sense. I'm tall, I'm learning as an adult, I take big steps, I don't speak Spanish, I don't understand the music. All of these cons. I just liked it. It excited me. Right? I wanted to go back. I couldn't wait for my next lesson, even though there are all these things against it. Practically, it made 0 sense. And now I own the largest salsa dancing studio in Canada, maybe North America, because I liked it. So pay attention to the energy, pay attention to the activities that you're doing that even if they don't make sense, you love doing, because if you keep doing work that you love, you'll get good at it and you'll become top in your industry. And then step number 3 is you quit when you don't love it anymore. People ask me, when do I quit? When do I give up? There's all this advice, never give up, never quit. That's not true. You should quit a lot, but you quit it when you don't love it anymore. You give up on it when it's driving you nuts. A lot of entrepreneurs stay in the business for too long, even though they don't like it anymore, because they don't want to quit. But you will never win doing work that you hate. If you haven't found success yet and you still love it, you have to keep going. You have to keep going, or back to rule number 1, you will regret it. If you quit too soon, if you felt like you quit too soon, you gave up a little too soon, you're going to regret that your whole life. But if you've already grown tired of it, even if it is making money for you, then find a way to sell it or find a way to get out of it, because you should be doing work that makes you come alive, that gives you energy, that you love. That's the only way you're gonna make a difference.
Rule number 3, craft your Guan Dao.
George Bernard Shaw famously said, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." The entrepreneurs who win are the unreasonable women and men who are trying to make a difference. You're different. You don't fit in. Stop trying to. Instead, make the world adapt to you. I want to tell you a story about Guan Yu and his Guan Dao. Let me get my prop. So, this is a heavy statue made of bronze. Let's hope my desk doesn't collapse from this. We good? Can we see? Okay, good. This is Guan Yu. Guan Yu is a legendary Chinese general, god of war, and he was a huge man in Chinese history. He was huge by stature, giant. He was bigger than everybody else that he was fighting against. So when he was getting started in fighting, when people gave him a regular sword or staff or spear, it was so light for him. It was too easy for him because he was such a giant beast of a man. And so instead of just taking the tools that everybody else was using, he made his own weapon called the Guan Dao. It's this crazy thing right here. It's this crazy, staff with a giant blade on the end of it. Guan Dao. Nobody else could lift this thing because it was so heavy. But he had it crafted for him because he could lift it, and it made him even more powerful than everybody else because he had this giant weapon that he was using in all of his fights. That's what I think entrepreneurs need to do. That's what you need to do. You are a genius. You are Michael Jordan at something. You are Guan Yu at something. The greatest fighter in China at the time, right? That's you at something. And for you to win, you need to have your own Guan Dao. You need to craft your weapon, craft your business, craft your habits, craft your activities, craft the people around you so that you can leverage what you're naturally great at. I make videos, right? I love having my own message. I love DJing content. It's what I love doing. I can make 4 videos a day across my channels because I have a team of people who help create all of this stuff. If it was just me doing everything, I would not be making the content that I am. I built the business around me, what I'm great at, what I love doing, what I want to continue to excel and improve at. You need to find the same thing for you. You are a Guan Yu. You are a Michael Jordan. It's time to embrace that. And then create something that hasn't been created before. That's what entrepreneurs are doing. Create your Guan Dao to let you do what you're so good at an even higher level. So I've got a 3-step process to help you believe more in your Michael Jordan, Guan Yu level talent. I hope it helps. Step number 1 is trust your bold ideas. I believe that the ideas that come to you when you're feeling bold, when you're feeling confident, are actually the best things for you. When you're in a state of feeling like you're the best, you're full of motivation for whatever reason, whatever happened, maybe it's after watching this video, you feel like things are possible and you decide something, or you even come up with an idea for something like, I should go do that. That is the best idea for you. And then your head talks you down from it. Then you wake up the next day and say, oh, I can't do that. Who am I to do that? I don't have the resources, the skills, the time, the money, the connections to do that. I can't do that. And then with each day that passes, you feel less and less and less confident that you can do that. Your head talks you down from the big ideas. Hold on to them. The ideas that you come up with when you're feeling bold are the best ones for you. You have to chase those down. So the next time you get that bold idea, when you're feeling confident, trust in it. Believe in it. Chase it down. It's your duty. It's your obligation. It's your destiny. It's your future. Let's go. Step number 2 is think big, act small. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs fall down. You've got this big dream, big goal. You want to change the world. I love it. Yes, that dream you have to have that will motivate you and the people around you to keep going, because a lot of it is really hard. Without that big dream that you're chasing down, it's hard to stay motivated every day. And at the same time, you need to act small. Just start. Just take the smallest possible step and build momentum. The thing that's missing from so many entrepreneurs, from most of you, is not lack of ideas, it's not lack of genius, it's not lack of even ability, it's lack of momentum. You're just not doing enough. And so as soon as you get an idea, do something about it. You're thinking big, awesome, acting small. So you have that bold idea, amazing. What ends up happening to so many entrepreneurs is, well, in order for that to happen, I need to get venture capital. I need to get funding. I need to get a team. There's no way I could do it by myself. And you keep making that vision bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's inspiring, it's motivating, and it's scary. And it makes you feel like you can't do it without the right resources, connections, people, team around you. So to combat that, you need to get started. You just do it. You start. You want to start a YouTube channel? Amazing. Pull out a phone and go. Today, right now, immediate action. Let's go. Think big, start small. Don't worry about the lighting and the microphone and the camera and the gear and the people and the editing. It'll come with time. The biggest thing that's missing is momentum. Think big, act small. And step number 3 is remember the Wayne Gretzky rule. The Wayne Gretzky rule is you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. That's so many entrepreneurs. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs have come to me and they get upset because they see somebody else getting rich off of their idea. Somebody else is getting rich. Dummies are getting rich off of your idea. They're making money. They're having an impact off of your idea. The difference is they just did something. They got started. Where you're still thinking and planning and tinkering and writing your business proposal out instead of actually going out and doing. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Now, it doesn't mean you're gonna score a goal every time you take a shot, but the more shots you take, the better chance you give yourself of actually getting an outcome.
Rule number 4, find your why, your who, and how.
Humans are built to serve. You want to help people. It's hardwired into us. Serving other people touches the same part of our brain as eating food and having sex. You need it. But how do you serve? What is your purpose? How do you find your passion? I'm gonna answer that in this video. So earlier this year, I went across 90 days, 23 cities across the US on a tour, speaking tour. And in my head, my plan was to talk about how to overcome judgment, how to take the 2% difference and just start acting on your ideas. And I had this template for what I wanted to talk about. And as I started getting more questions, the single thing that came up over and over and over again from 23 different cities across the entire country, from Pittsburgh to San Diego and back, was how do I find my purpose? What's my passion? What am I supposed to be doing? And in every single city, I had to walk people through this process. And because it became so important, I started to write a book on it because I basically went through interventions with people where I had them stand up and had them go through a 3-step process that I'm gonna walk you through in this video in a minute. And they got a result. And suddenly after years or decades of no clarity, they had clarity on what they should be doing and what their purpose was, what their passion was, and what their path forward was. Step 1 is who, step 2 is why, and step 3 is how. So let's start with step 1. It's your who. It's your most important core value. Humans are built off of core values, and there's one that's more important than all the others. If you had to decide what is your single most important core value, what is it? You may not know exactly, but you're gonna get pretty close. Just go down this thought exercise for now. What is one important core value that you hold? That if people around you were the opposite of it, it would be toxic to you. It's important to figure out because when people don't know what their most important core value is, you get pulled into a whole bunch of different directions. You get pulled to follow somebody else's purpose, somebody else's mission, and settle for it. But what you're settling for is crumbs. It's crumbs of purpose because it's their purpose that you're just kind of helping instead of you actually living your purpose. It makes a massive difference. It starts with what is your single most important core value. And you can look at that by what are all the things that have made you come alive in the past, the people you love, the relationship that worked out, the thing you learned from your teachers the most, why you love those people so much is a common thread. And when you figure that out, it allows you to build a better life and business going forward with intention around your most important core value and bringing people alongside your mission to support you. So you're working with the people who are like-minded instead of having a random assortment of people who might have great skills with different values and it doesn't work out. Step 2 is your why. This is your purpose. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your purpose comes from your pain. Think about the most painful moment you had growing up in your past. It doesn't have to be from 8 years old. Maybe it was something that happened 2 years ago. But the most painful moment in your life, what was it? Where you felt not physical pain, but emotional pain. That you felt worthless as a human being. When did you feel the most worthless as a human being? That moment. Helping other people is built into you, right? Humans are built to serve. But helping people who are exactly like that will be the people that you love helping for the rest of your life. Because whether that was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, let's just say it was 5 years ago for this example, the person who you were 5 years ago, You've grown a lot since then. You may not be out of the woods. You may not have figured it all out. You're still on your journey. You're still learning and growing, and you never want to stop learning and growing. But you're way better than you used to be. You're way better than you were 5 years ago. Now, there's a lot of people who are exactly who you used to be 5 years ago, and they're struggling, and they need help, and they need guidance, and they're afraid, and they don't know what to do. You can help them. Just like the version of you right now could go back 5 years and help the person who you used to be, there are a lot of people who are what you used to be. They currently are what you used to be. You can help them. And helping them, it's not just a matter of you can. It'll fill you up. It'll never get old for the rest of your life. Your purpose comes from your pain. And then step 3 is your how. This is your passion. So how did you get out of it? How did you solve the problem? Again, you might not be totally out of the woods. You're still learning and growing. Amazing. But you've learned a lot since the person you were 5 years ago. How did you get out of it? What did you do? Was it watching YouTube videos? Was it meditation? Was it getting in shape, eating better food? What was it? What did you do? What did you do to save yourself? That was not a random occurrence. That was not something that can just work for you. That's a recipe that you can apply to help other people as well. The path that you took to get out, or at least get a little bit better than where you used to be, is something that is teachable that you can help other people with as well, and give them hope, and give them momentum, and give them confidence. And again, that will fill you up for the rest of your life.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for the habit to stick. That's what I want for you. So I've designed a custom free program where I'm going to send you an unlisted video for the next 254 days to shift your confidence and belief forward. The link to join is in the description below.
If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
The people who win work the hardest because they love what they do.
It's got to be your life's work. If you only had to write one book ever in your life, this is it, and it's got to be amazing.
Rule number 5, take control of your life.
Saying I never have the time is the single greatest excuse that is preventing you from accomplishing your goals. You are not allowed to say it anymore. Stop it. Stop believing your own lies. Whatever story you're telling yourself as to why you can't do it, how much time you don't have, somebody else who made it had it way worse than you did. They made it and had it way worse than you did. If they can make it, you can too. The only difference is the story you're telling yourself that you don't have enough time to do it. So I'm gonna give you a more fun example on this one. I wanna get to being a better League of Legends player, okay? I would play League of Legends, I don't know, once or twice a week, depending on what was happening in my calendar. I started sponsoring a League of Legends player, my first esports venture, this guy named Carmichael, and he plays Teemo. Teemo's a character in the game. I play Teemo. He's the best Teemo in the world. In any region around the world, he is the #1 guy. And I said, Kyle, Manko, I want to sponsor you, and part of the deal is you're going to coach me. I want you to coach me on how to get better. I want to get better. I want to climb. I was in bronze, which is the 2nd worst division in League of Legends. He said, what was the best you've ever done? I said, silver, which is the 3rd worst division in League of Legends. And so he said, okay, I can help you. How often are you practicing? I said, I don't know, once or twice a week. It's like, okay, that's not enough. I need you to play 3 games a day. 3 games a day. And a game takes 35 to 40 minutes, sometimes longer, depending on how long it takes to get into the game. Could be 45 minutes, maybe even up to an hour. And I'm thinking in my head, 3 games a day, are you nuts? I don't have time to do this. I can't make that happen. I got all these other responsibilities. Right? If it's important, you got to stop telling yourself that you can't do it. How do I justify playing 3 games a day when I have all these other stuff I need to do? I need to run a business. I want to scale. I want to grow my YouTube channel. I want to grow my impact. I need to write my book. I need to launch my YouTube course. I need to spend time with my wife and my family. I got lots of other things I need to do. I need to sleep, all of it. How do I justify spending 3 games a day to improve my Teemo? I don't have the time. Your actions map to your ambitions. I look at my calendar, I made a way. I'm gonna do it. I wanna get better. I wanna improve. Now, I don't do it when I'm traveling, so I'm here in LA right now, so I haven't played my 3 games since I've been away. But when I'm in Toronto, pretty much every day that I'm in Toronto, I'll get my 3 games in. And I've gotten better. The results speak. I went from bronze to silver, and now I'm climbing up through silver, and hopefully the goal is to get the gold by the end of the year. So now it's the fourth
worst division. And you're starting to get, once you get in the goal and you get a little bit higher, now you're starting to get some kind of, not reputation, but significance, and just like you're actually a semi-decent player, right? So I'm chasing down my League of Legends goals. Because your personal goals, you may be watching and thinking, well, why are you wasting your time doing it? It's a personal goal to me. It might be a waste of time to you. Maybe building a deck for your backyard is a big waste of time for me. Maybe making your own clothes or whatever other hobby you have, cooking or crafting, is a big waste of time for me, right? So don't judge somebody else's personal goals. This is a personal goal of mine. I want to chase it down, and I want to not tell myself that I don't have the time, right? As soon as you hear yourself say, I don't have the time, you're not taking control of your calendar. You're not taking control of your life. Of course you have the time. You choose not to prioritize it. That's the change in language you need to make. You're not allowed to say, I don't have the time. Instead, I choose not to prioritize it. Because now you're in charge. Now you have nobody to blame. Because when it's somebody else's fault, when you don't have the time, that's not your fault. That's somebody else's fault. That's everybody else who has demands on your time, right? You can't do anything about it. So let's just stay here and never accomplish your goals. You choose not to prioritize it. Once you take accountability, once you take responsibility to say, I'm going to take control of what I want to do in my life, that's when everything starts to change. That's when everything starts to get great. That's when you start to actually accomplish your goals.
Okay, my camera overheated, so I'm finishing off this video on my cell phone because your stuff has to happen, right? When you make it a priority, you gotta make sure it happens. So how do you take more control of your time? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is understand, what do you want more in life? What do you want more to your life? What do you want more of? You want more of everything, great, be specific. Like, what is the thing that is missing the most from your life that you wish was more on your calendar? Get super clear, super specific. I wanted to get better at Teemo, right? I wanted to improve my League of Legends. I wanted to climb the gold. That's my goal. I need to get these videos out. So even though my camera overheats, I'm still filming these videos because they have to get out. What do you want more out of life? Be specific. Step number 2 is try it this week. Before you worry about creating this giant schedule, this is where people can get overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, to make that happen, I need to spend X number of hours, X number of time, and then it becomes this giant project that you never do. Don't worry about it yet. Just try it for a week. Try it for 1 week. So before committing to say, I'm going to play 3 games of League of Legends for the rest of my life, which should sound overwhelming, great. How about just try it for a week? Whatever your big goal is, whatever you want more out of life, make 1 change and try it for this week. That's it. The biggest thing you're missing is momentum. So let's build some this week. And then step number 3 is make a new schedule, right? If it's working, if you're getting results, if you start to see the momentum, then you can create a new schedule. Then you can say, okay, I like this. Stuff is actually starting to happen. I mean, I've gotten big results yet, but I can feel that things are happening. Finally, we have some momentum behind this idea. Awesome. Now you can change your schedule. Now you can say, how do I make this more consistent? How do I make this so that every week or every day I'm doing this thing? Because if you took the results that you got for the past week, the momentum you built in the past week, and had that every single week, your life is going to be totally different 1 year from today. So step number 1 is understanding what you want more out of life. Step number 2, figure out how to apply it just this week. And then 3, set a new schedule where your actions map to your ambitions.
Rule number 6, don't settle for average.
You have Michael Jordan level talent at something, but instead of being world class at that thing, you settled for being just above average at something that you should not be doing. Albert Einstein once said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will believe its whole life that it is stupid. That's most people's problems. You are a fish, and you're trying to climb a tree instead of going and being great at swimming. This is the exact problem that I am on a mission to solve. So I recently had a young entrepreneur come to one of my Toronto Q&A meetups that are free that I host every week. And he said, Evan, I have a problem. I'm trying to decide between what my parents want me to be, which is an architect, and what I feel a yearning towards, which is being a musician. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to decide. I don't know how I'm going to be a success as a musician. I don't know how it's going to work out. And my parents want me to be an architect, and there's this clearly defined path for how to do it. And he's afraid. And I think that's so many people. There's this safe, perfect path that has been designed that people have done forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Or there's this new, crazy, messy, unrealistic, unsafe, unsure path, which is following your passion, being an entrepreneur, and trying to figure out where you're supposed to go. Here's the thing. If you only go down that safe path, if you only take that job, if you only listen to your parents or other people and you do what they want you to do, you're always going to be unhappy. You're always going to know that there was this thing inside you that you could have done, that you didn't take action on, and you hate it. It's never been easier to actually be yourself and build a business and have success being uniquely you, right? This was not open to your parents and definitely not your grandparents. The ability to be an entrepreneur on the side, making money using your phone, is something that your grandparents don't understand. It's totally wild. And so you are a unique individual, right? You are, I am, we all are. You have unique interests, personality traits, belief systems. You're unique. You need to do something unique. If you are unique, you need to do something unique. If you're stuck doing the same thing that somebody else wants you to do, you're never going to be happy. Now, there may be some alignment. You may not absolutely hate the job that you're at, but you know you're capable of more. You're Michael Jordan. You are the Michael Jordan of something. You're a genius, an absolute bona fide genius at something. This is why I think it's the world's greatest problem. This is why I do what I do every single day in making this content and videos for you, because I want to unlock people, hopefully more than one at a time, but even if it's just one person who watches this video and gets unlocked, I'm pumped. Because I think if everybody is off doing the thing that they are a genius at, man, I want to live in that world.
Rule number 7, learn.
Reading should not be your priority. Learning should be your priority. There used to be only a small number of ways to learn. It used to only be reading or maybe going to lectures and learning from people, but reading was one of the fastest ways to learn because you could take somebody's life and in one book condense the whole thing, all of the lessons, and here you go, chance to learn. Now though, there's so many different ways to learn. There's podcasts, there's videos. And so you need to understand what is the best way that you learn. Reading does not have to be in your top priority, but learning has to be. The difference between where you are today and where you will be in 5 years, that growth will be in direct relation to how much you learn, how much you feed this brain right here with knowledge that shifts the way you think, but it doesn't have to come from reading. So looking at my story as an example, I used to read all the time. Growing up, I used to read. I'm 39 now, so I used to read a lot. Growing up, it was the only way to learn. And the idea of being able to look at any famous entrepreneur and look at their story and how they got started, that was a lot of knowledge. That allows you to step into somebody's world, right? If you don't like your environment, you don't like the people around you, you don't want to become your parents or the people in your community, you want something better, you want something bigger, then you need to start to surround yourself with those people. And reading is a great way to step into their world. And so I used to read every single week. Not quite every day, but almost. I was reading a lot. I was voracious. But as soon as video came out, I quickly shifted. I would much rather watch a video than read a book. I just learn better that way. I would much rather have an Elon Musk video and watch him and see him tell his story and look at the body language than I would reading a book about somebody else telling Elon Musk's story. That's me. That's how I learn. I listen to 0 podcasts because auditory is the slowest way for me to learn. If it was the only way, if the only way to learn was to listen to podcasts, and I would be all over it and I would force myself to do it because I love learning. But because there's so many different options and I love video first, I default to learning through video like this. Videos like this on my multiple channels. And so video is by far number 1 for me, and I consume video pretty much every single day of my life. Number 2 would be reading, and a huge drop down to number 2. I'll read maybe 3 to 4 books a year. And then number 3 would be auditory, which would be podcasts, and I consume 0 podcasts. I don't know that I've listened to an entire podcast all the way through. It would have to be some person that I can't find the video or a book on, and the only information, the only way to get it is to listen to a podcast. So the point of all this is not to slam on podcasts or audiobooks. I have my own audiobook. I read it myself. It's fire. If you love learning from auditory, then you should go and go all in on that. The point is to prioritize learning. You need to have learning as a regular part of your life. If you do not learn consistently, then you will end up in the same spot you are, right? You will be in the same spot you are in 5 years if you do not learn. But it's figuring out where do you learn best and going all in on that strategy. So what's the best way for you to learn? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is, who do you want to learn from? You want to learn from people who've done more than you have in a certain field or industry, right? If you want to learn to be a better parent, a better husband, a better wife, a better entrepreneur, a better salesperson, a better marketer, Who's the person that you want to learn from? And it doesn't mean you have to become that person. The goal isn't to be the next Steve Jobs. It's to learn one thing from Steve Jobs that makes you a better version of you. So who is the person that you most want to learn from right now? Step number 2 is identify how do you learn best. How do you learn best? I don't care what other people are doing. Do you learn best through videos? Do you learn best through reading? Or do you learn best through auditory, listening to podcasts and audiobooks? How do you learn best? And then number 3 is create a regular learning schedule. If you know who you want to learn from, the types of people, and you know your learning style, then what's your ongoing regular learning schedule? It has to be in your week, every single week. Whether that's a daily thing, whether you make that part of your daily routine, I'm a big fan of that. Otherwise, it's got to be somewhere in your week. You will never learn the material that you want to learn. You will never be able to emulate and model somebody else's success to turn you into the best version of yourself if you don't have that as a part of your regular week, right? Your actions need to map to your ambitions. What's in your calendar has to map to you accomplishing the goals that you want. If you just have goals, if you just want to learn, you want to become that person, but it's not in your schedule anywhere, you're never going to become it.
Rule number 8, give more value.
Most entrepreneurs don't charge enough. You're so worried about getting rejected or losing clients because of a higher price that you'll charge just enough so that you stay just above the survival line. That's not how winning businesses are built. If you can't break your survival mentality, you'll stay in survival mode forever. So the first brand deal that I ever got was for $500 from a major telecommunications company, and they wanted me to write for their website. And they hired me, they hired 9 other people to write an article, and they said, write 300 words, we'll pay you $500. And for me, $500 at the time, I thought, this is great. It's amazing. I got my first deal, $500, this is cash. I'm pumped. But more important, I'm getting a link from a huge company. And for anybody back in the old school SEO days, if you get linked from a big company, that can mean a lot for your business to take off for rankings. So I would have done it for free just for the link. So they gave me the $500. But I didn't just write the 300 words because I wanted to give more value. I wanted to get paid based off the value that I could provide. And so I had to show them, here's how much value I can bring. And so instead of writing 300 words, I wrote 1,500 words, right? 5 times more than what they asked. And then I made a video talking about it. And then I also promoted it to my newsletter list, promoted it to my audience, let people know when that article came up, here it was. And so what happened? As a result of me doing all this work, I was the only one doing it. So when they came to the end of the series, I had my posts that were crushing it, and the 9 other people were doing what was asked, the 300 words, the bare minimum. What is asked of you is the bare minimum. That's your ticket into the door. If you just did what they asked, that's not enough. That's not giving them insane value. And so I was the only one that they hired. 10 of us went in. I was the only one who kept going because I brought them way more value. Now, I started charging more for what I was doing. It went from $500 per post to $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000, kept increasing my prices because I was bringing them the value and they could see it. And so at the very beginning, I was grateful. I was just grateful to get the gig. I was grateful to get my first corporate gig, to get $500, to get a link from the website. I was grateful. I was pumped. I was happy. I was excited. This is the best. But I wanted to make this a business. And you can't have a business on $500 a month. And so I had to ask myself, how do I bring more value? If I want to get paid more, I need to bring more value, and either these guys are going to recognize it or somebody else will. I'm going to give you a 3-step process that you can use to start charging more. Step number 1 is give the baker's dozen. I don't know how common a term this is, but I remember when I was young, growing up at my cottage, we'd always go to this local bake shop, and they sold donuts, and they would sell a 12-pack of donuts, but they add a 13th one in for free, and they called it the baker's dozen. A dozen is supposed to be 12, but they give you a 13th donut for free. So you get your 12, and you can pick one more for free, as a bonus, as an extra, as more value. And so you want to think about that in your business as well. Think about all the clients that you're helping. How can you give the baker's dozen? How can you give that one extra donut, that one extra little bit of value? Not of what you want to do, but of what is actually valuable for them, right? In the example of my client, I wrote 5 times as many words. I added a video. I promoted to my newsletter list. Think about being your client's chief goal officer. What are they trying to accomplish? They're hiring you for something, but they also have bigger goals in their life or business. What are they trying to accomplish? And the more you can help them accomplish that thing, the more they're going to love you, the more they're going to refer you, and the more they're going to pay you for helping them out. And so adopt the baker's dozen mentality. you're just assuming that what is on paper is not going to be enough. That's just the entry point. That's the bare minimum. You're always going to add in that extra donut. Step 2, increase your prices by 30%. Just try it. For your next client, increase your prices 30%. A big problem for a lot of entrepreneurs is you're already doing the baker's dozen. You're doing more than the baker's dozen. You're giving insane value. You're spending an incredible amount of time researching, helping, thinking about your client, and you're just not getting paid enough for it. And so your next client that comes in, just try it. 30% more, 30% more, 30% more. And you'll slowly transition to be able to have bigger clients, because only doing work with people who can afford to pay you what you're worth is not how you're going to build a great business. It's honestly better to work with people who can afford to pay you, and then you keep 10% of your clients to be charity cases. That's actually even for free. You don't charge them, it's free. It's your community service. It's your work to give back to the community around you. Amazing, but you can't build your business off of that. Most of your business has to be off of people who are paying you what you're worth. And so the next client that comes in, you summon your courage, you look at your typical price that you would charge, now it's 30% more. And step 3 is start small. I love starting small. I hate having to go into a business and do this giant pitch because it's a 6-figure deal. I hate that. It takes too long. It has to go through too many hands. It has to have too many meetings. It's a committee to make a decision. It just takes too long. The best place to start is small. Just find the smallest deal to get started off. One tiny little thing that you can do for them, and then be the best supplier that they've ever worked with. Be the best supplier that they have ever worked with, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to fight for ways to bring you back in. When I did that deal with the telecommunications company, they loved me so much that they fought for ways to have me come back in. They wanted me to speak at events. They wanted me to interview people for their channel. They were looking for ways, like, can we give this to Evan? Can we have Evan do this? It started off as one throwaway thing. One 300-word article became a 3-year relationship. Something like that is crazy. I want that for you. I don't want you to have to go through crazy big proposals that take 6 months to get a decision. Find one tiny little thing that you can get started off, and then show the value that you bring. And then they're gonna fight over themselves to have you do more work. They'll say, can you do this? Can you do that? We're having a problem here. Can you help out here too? And if it's in your wheelhouse and you say, yes, I'm happy to help. And suddenly you get more and more and more of the entire business without ever having to pitch, without ever having to present, because you're bringing so much value.
Rule number 9, chase your dream.
Chasing down your dream, even if everyone around you thinks you're crazy, is the only way you're gonna win. I like to say that everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. Everyone, yes, you, right there, you could be the greatest of all time at something. The problem is most of us settle for something just over survival, something just good enough to get by, instead of going for something that you could be the greatest of all time at. The toughest choice I ever had to make in my life was whether I should become an entrepreneur or go take this 6-figure job traveling around the world in investment banking. And I thought I wanted to be an investment banker, but I had this thing gnawing at me saying I need to at least try this entrepreneurship path, just to test, just to see. Nobody in my family was an entrepreneur. I didn't have an upbringing of entrepreneurship. I didn't have heroes or role models around me who were entrepreneurs that I wanted to model and be like them. I thought I wanted to be a banker. But when this opportunity came up, I did not want to live with regret. That's the final filter through which I made my decision. I looked at the 2 decisions. This is where you can't just make your list. When you're faced with a really tough decision, you have to make your big decisions with your heart and the small ones with the head. What do I do? The most difficult decision of my life. What do I do? Do I take this job? Or do I try to be an entrepreneur, make $300 a month and have 30% of a company? What's the best call? I did not want to live with regret. I asked myself, if I'm 100 years old and I'm sitting on a rocking chair and I'm in a retirement home and I'm about to go, this is it. This is the end of my life. When I look back on this moment right now, I look back on it, what will I regret more? Saying no to the job or saying no to the business? And I thought, you know what? I can always get another job. I could. It may not be the same job. It may not be in Asia like this one was. It may not be traveling as much, but I can get another job that's similar. This business, I don't know if I'm ever going to get the shot again. I don't know if this will ever come around again. I'm going to regret it if I don't know. And I adopted the mentality that I would rather know and fail than not know. I had to know. And so I did it. And I never went back to investment banking or any other kind of job. It wasn't easy. I struggled. I suffered. For those of you who've gone deep into my story, you know a lot of the trials and tribulations I had to go through. But you come out a different person. There's no going back. When you make those difficult decisions, you become a different person. And so I can't just leave that and go be an investment banker. And so I think everybody has Michael Jordan level talent. I think you have genius. You could be the greatest of all time at something. You either don't know what it is, and then it's your duty to go and explore and find it. Don't settle for the first 3 things that come to you. Explore. You have an idea, you have intuition about something, chase it down, try it, see it, taste it, taste it. If it makes you come alive, you have to keep going, even if people around you say you're crazy. You are crazy. You're trying to be the world's greatest at something. Look at who's telling you this advice. It may be out of love, but are they the greatest at what they do? Did they chase down their dreams? Or did they settle? Don't take advice to settle from people who settled. They love you. They're scared. Don't take on their fear. You want to be great. You have to chase down your path, and I'm going to give you a 3-step process to do it. Step number 1 is write down your dream. Write it down. Make it visual. Not just here on your phone, but like take out a pen and paper and write it down. Write it down. Get it out of your head and put it on paper. That crazy thing, as soon as you start to express it, seems a little bit less crazy. As long as it's in your head, this crazy idea you have, as long as you're tinkering and toying, it's safe. It's in this development zone. But as soon as you get it down on paper, it becomes more real. You look at it and you get a little bit more scared. That's great. This is the start. This is the expression. This is the getting it out into the world. You have to write down your dream. Step number 2, ask yourself, what will you regret if you don't chase down this dream? Do what I did. Imagine yourself, you're 100 years old, you're in an old age home, you're sitting on a rocking chair, it's over. Like, you're done. You can't go back and do this again. You don't have the energy, you don't have the brain power anymore, you can't actually do it. What are you gonna regret? Are you gonna regret not doing path A or not doing path B? Write down all the reasons why. Make it powerful. Make it compelling. You don't want to end up at the end of your life telling yourself, I could have done more. I could have been the greatest. I could have been the greatest at something. And I settled because I was afraid. Write down what your future regrets will be if you don't take action on your dream. And step number 3, write down what you're going to do today to make progress. What are you going to do today? It's great writing down your dream. It's great to get motivated and think about all the reasons you're going to regret if you don't do it. But you still have to do something. It comes down to action. You got to do. So you may not have all the steps figured out. That's okay. If you have a dream, it should be big. You should know how you're going to get there. If you have all the steps figured out, then it's not a big enough dream. If you have complete certainty of how you're going to do it, it's not a big enough dream. You're capable of more. And you're capable of doing the first step. What's the first step? So today, you wrote it down. Amazing. What's next? Reach out to someone. Post. Ask questions. Momentum. Action. That's what's missing. You're a genius. You're the greatest of all time at something. You have to trust in that, and you have to build momentum towards it.
Now I've got some special bonus clips that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just watch a video and you get motivated, the sign says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We need to take some action. But when you watch a video, you get motivated and you create a specific plan of action, that number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of you following through. And when you publicly commit to other people, like leaving a comment down in this video, your number jumps to 95% chance of you actually following through on the plan you set for yourself. So I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Leave it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
Having a cause will make you feel like a superhero. It'll allow you to do things you never thought you'd do and give you the courage you never thought you'd have. All of your heroes had a cause, and if you want to stop selling sugar water and change the world, it's time to find yours. I love the Steve Jobs story. I'm a huge fan of Steve. I have his poster on my wall as one of 5 people that I look up to on a daily basis. But one of the things that I really find most valuable about having a cause is it can allow you to have the courage to be the evangelical person, even if it's not naturally who you are. I look at Steve Jobs and I see someone who is naturally talented, who's a great salesperson, who has the gift of gab, who loves being in the spotlight, who is that person who likes being up front and center. And so it's easy to go off and be that person. Now you combine that with a cause and you get a company like Apple. But having a cause can make you evangelical even if you are introvert and shy and don't like the spotlight. I know because I'm talking about myself. I am an introvert. I don't like talking to people. I don't talk to the person next to me on the airplane. Being in front of the camera makes me nervous. Being in front of a giant audience makes me shy. I'd much rather be at the back of a room than be the center of attention. One of the things I used to fight the most with my agent about was he would say that, Evan, you don't want to be famous. That's a problem. Like, yeah, I don't want to be famous. It's not about me, it's about the cause. And recently it started to sink in that by me becoming more famous, I could spread the message more. But it's one of the biggest things that we kept fighting over because I don't crave the limelight where a lot of people, they absolutely have to have it. But when you have a cause, it forces you to the front. I make videos because I want to help entrepreneurs. I make videos because I struggled so much. Your purpose comes from your pain. I struggled so much in starting my business. I want to make the path a little bit easier for the next generation of people coming through. I'm making videos and content and speeches for the 19-year-old version of myself that needed to hear this stuff. And so I feel it's my responsibility, it's my obligation. I have to do it. And it forces me out into stages that normally I would say, you're crazy. I'm on this tour right now, right? I gave up a quarter of my year, 90 days, to hit 23 cities and do the thing that I'm most afraid to do, which is get up and potentially disappoint people every 4 days by doing another event. And I kept going even though I broke my neck. I broke my neck 3 weeks ago in Denver. And we kept going. I only canceled one event completely. And I just got up and kept going. And so having that cause, feeling like the work that you do is important and meaningful is the whole thing. 95% of America wakes up and drives to the job that they hate. Don't let that be you. 95% of America is selling sugar water that they don't believe in. Don't let that be you. But when you find the thing that you love doing, when you find the cause, when you can connect the work that you're doing on a daily basis to impacting other people, right? Humans are built to serve. We are built to serve either the world or the 25 closest people to us. And when you can connect the work that you're doing on a daily basis to serving and helping others in some capacity, then you're set, then you love it, then you keep going, then you push through. I kept going on this tour because I'm on a cause, I'm on a mission. I have purpose. And even though it may not be my best work, it's better than me not showing up. And so it'll push you through emotional pain. It'll push you through physical pain. It'll push you to give you the courage that you never thought you'd have because you feel a calling to go and help other people. And so humans are built to serve, but we're also afraid of judgment, afraid of failure, afraid of disappointing people. And when you can release that fear because you found the thing that you have to do, it'll give you the courage and strength to move forward and become evangelical about your cause. Now, I've got 3 very important questions that I think you should ask yourself as you're going through this journey of finding out your cause and then living it to become evangelical about it, that if you ask and answer powerfully, I think it change the course of the rest of your life. Question number 1, what would the most courageous version of yourself do? Think about what you think of yourself right now. The kind of skills and the talents and just the identity. I am the kind of person who does this. There's a lot of limiting beliefs in there. And a lot of your growth and the growth of your cause comes from busting through some of these limiting personal beliefs. And so asking that question, what would the most courageous version of you do right now? Not what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail, because that requires no courage. That's the opposite of courage. You know you're not gonna fail, you're gonna win, so there's zero courage involved. No, I want you to have courage. What would the most courageous version of you do? And then go do that thing. And it's a great question to constantly ask yourself as you continue to evolve and grow. Question number 2, who do you need to recruit to your cause to make it blow up? So recognize that you can't do everything, right? If you want to go quickly, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with a team. You have a skill set, an interest. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. And the most courageous version of you will go off and do these things. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you don't want to do. And you need to recruit people to your team, even if for free at the beginning, just to get it started. So for me in making videos, I didn't want to be the person behind the camera. I didn't want to have to do all the editing. I didn't want to know the specs and the gear and all that stuff. Even here as we're set up, you know, I've got a light on me here, there's a fill light behind me, I'm mic'd up, we have this camera on me, fancy gear. I don't want to know about all this stuff, but I need people on my team to help me do it. And so the first person that I recruited for my first video was my buddy, Mark Drager. And he came on his off time and he shot my video. It was Walt Disney, it's 10 years old now almost, and it's embarrassing to look at. But it was well done. It was well shot, technically, by my friend who knew what he was doing. But I needed to recruit those people. And so understanding what do you have Michael Jordan level potential at, and trying to spend as much time as possible doing that thing, and then recruiting other people alongside you, even if for free at the beginning, just to build up your base, because you cannot do everything alone. Your mission, your cause will never come to fruition if you are trying to do everything completely by yourself. And question number 3 is, how can you tell your story in a way that connects with people? This is one of the things that you will need to summon the courage to do. You need to tell your story. You're doing this cause because of a personal story, and your purpose comes from your pain. And so being able to share that painful moment is something that a lot of people have a hard time doing, because they don't want to admit the weakness, they don't want to admit the vulnerability, they don't want to live in the pain. But without knowing your story, without knowing why you're doing what you're doing, people won't connect with you. You just look like another giant corporation, but you're not giant because I don't know who you are. And so if you think about whatever your cause is, your business, what you're up to, if you have a website that you look like giant corporation because you're trying to be professional and corporate, right? You have the same boring headshots and the same boring bio as everybody else. Why would I buy from you? Why would I work with you? I'm gonna work with a big company. They may treat me like a number, but at least I know who they are. They have a reputation. I know they're gonna still be around the business. I know what I'm getting. Why take a chance on you? It's your story. Your story is the X factor. Your story is the reason why somebody wants to work with you versus everybody else. And you're so afraid to share the story. And so you have to get it out there. I would love to see a video. I would love to see you practice and tell the story in a video, and not worried about you being the perfect public speaker or not, but just getting it out, just to share it. But if you don't want to do that yet, then just a written story. Tell me where you came from. Tell me why you do what you do. Tell me why this is so important to you. Tell me where you came from and why this thing has to happen. Because it's your story and your passion that will carry the day. And if I can't connect to you and why you're doing it, I don't connect to your cause.
If you want to learn why you must raise your standards to win, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. I will see you there. Continue to believe.
There are 3 ways to use technology, and most people pick the one method that costs them money.